I want you all to meet my sister. Oops, wait a sec. She's 4 years old and she's pretty cute, right? Well, guess what my parents named her? Anthea. Now, I love having her as my sister, but in truth, she's been through a lot. She's born at 33 weeks, weighing only 3.5 pounds, and she had to stay in an incubator at the neonatal intensive care unit for almost 2 months. She was born with bowed legs, a cleft palate, and a condition that results in lowered muscle tone. She hit milestones like being able to walk at 2.5, and she started properly talking at 3.5 years old. Now, my parents found a physical therapist, a speech therapist, and a nutritionist for her, and she has the privilege of studying at a small international school where she gets to interact with other typically developing kids her age. But our family is incredibly lucky to be able to provide this for her. The truth is, there's a drastic income disparity in Hong Kong, and access to private treatment therapies is a rare privilege. Around a year ago, some of my sister's classmates from Hibong Society came over for a playdate. In the beginning, I was completely shocked at some of their physical conditions. Many had debilitating conditions, such as severe scoliosis or genetic defects that made it hard to sit up straight or even properly open their eyes. In contrast to my family, they were on year-long government waitlists for treatment. And their special needs schools, they were strapped to chairs like prison inmates, and the teacher-to-student ratio did not provide sufficient support. But this isn't a problem limited to Hong Kong. Globally, there's an immense lack of resources and opportunities for these special needs individuals in order for them to improve. And this only reinforces the status quo of limited education attainment, low-level jobs, and poverty in adulthood. This is Tanya, one of my sister's closest friends with severe cerebral palsy. She's 5 years old and completely unable to walk or talk, and has been confined to a wheelchair or a stroller or a chair almost all her life. Even though she doesn't have the same physical capabilities as me, getting to know her has allowed me to realize that kids with special needs are still kids and are just as prone to feelings of isolation, exclusion, and judgment, just like we are. In fact, these feelings are only heightened for kids like her, as they experience discrimination and are shunned by society constantly. So, what can we do to help these tens of thousands of kids in Hong Kong, just like my sister Anthea? Inclusive education is an approach that removes barriers to allow special needs students to participate fully in regular classrooms. Teachers should adopt this method of teaching, and a whole school approach of inclusive education should be implemented by schools worldwide. But what can we do as non-educators? One of the biggest perpetrators of this issue is social stigma and discrimination. We often indirectly dehumanize people with special needs or those with disabilities, and we assume that they are incapable or inferior, and that they don't have the same mental or emotional capacity as us. We have to change our mindset into one of support and empathy, so that one day kids like Tanya and classmates of my sister will be able to live a life of acceptance and fulfillment. As Gandhi once said, the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. Ultimately, effective change stems from a place of empathy and understanding. And at the end of the day, Anthea and all the kids like her in Hong Kong deserve to be a fully participating member of our society. Thank you.